All right, so we're going to take a look at the new assignment training, the new assignment today. And I'm going to go to D2L and to my template that I have here and go to assignment tab. And I know you've been using assignments for quite a bit, and maybe you have already looked at the new assignment experience. So why we're saying that it's a new assignment experience? Not long time ago, kind of gradually, D2L offered a new user interface for the assignments. And you have probably seen this before, and today we're going to be going over some features here. You can still switch to the old experience over here. You can either leave your new experience on or turn it off, but I would suggest not to do that, because even if you're turning it off, you know, that might take you to the older familiar interface. But the new this interface will go away. So I would suggest to start using new interface, and that's what this training all about. So basically, it's the new experience offering this almost the same features as the old one. So this is the old one, and you remember we had 3 tabs: properties, where you can set up most of your settings for the assignments in here, add the rubric, add a grade, add a score out of, and so on, create a grade item or choose the existing grade item. Then there's a restrictions tabs where you would be setting up your due date, start date, end date, and so on. So that's pretty much the functionality that we're using. We're not using objectives, so functionality that we're using spread out between properties and restrictions. So these 2 tabs, right? And the properties tabs takes the whole page, and you have to scroll down. So what new experience does? I'm going to switch back to the new experience now. It combines all these features. I don't think there's anything really we're missing in the new experience, but it really puts everything on one page over here, right? And for availability, and there's no tabs for availability, dates, conditions, submissions, and evaluation feedback. You would have these drop-down menus, or these little triangles that we can collapse, the sections that we can collapse and fold and unfold. But really everything is in this on this one page. And you can see I cannot even scroll up and down. It's all over here. All right. So let's take a look at some features that we have here. So I'm gonna, today's October 10th assignment. Right, and I'm gonna, I gave it a name, and one of the biggest changes is happened in this area, and it might be a little bit confusing, but I hope it will not be. Just once you start getting used to that, it's a pretty much interface, but you want to definitely get familiar with that. So if your assignment doesn't have any grade, that you just leave it as ungraded, right? So you don't have to do anything. You in this section, you have to just provide instruction and do take care of some other options, but this one stays like this, ungraded. Well, what if it's going to be a graded assignment? Then you would put a number over here. So let's say 25 points is my assignment, October 10th assignment, right? And then you notice that the option for the grade item has appeared, right? So now we have in this grade book, and if you remember that little keyhole basically shows us that there's a grade item going to be attached, right? So when the grade item attached to assignment, we have this little symbol there. So the next, so we just gave 25 points, and the next thing what we want to do, we want to either find a grade item that we want to associate with this assignment, or create a new grade item. So you just click on this drop down menu and look at the options. So edit, first option, edit or link to existing. Okay, so not on a grade book, that's another option. Reset to ungraded. So if we switch back to ungraded, that's going to be back to ungraded. But get back to it, you just have to start punching the number, right? So okay, so not on a grade book. So for example, maybe you, it's hard for me to imagine this situation, but maybe if you have a graded assignment, but it's not on a grade book, maybe you are still doing Excel spreadsheet or a grading app. We could think about some scenario about that, but most of the time you would be using, of course, grade book or in grades area in D2L. So then you're using the very first option, and with this option you can either connect to existing or create a new grade item. Okay, so I'm going to click on this first option and see what it's got. So first option now on this screen, it's D2L offering us to create a link to a new grade item. And basically, you don't have to go to the grade book. It just creates a grade item. You can choose a category. All right, so these are my categories available. I can put it straight inside of one of the categories. Or if I have chosen the second option, it gives me a list of available grade items. As you know, if there's a grade items not associated with something, they will appear over here. So I can choose one of the grade items here, but I want to create a new one for this one, a new grade item for this assignment. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to click OK, and there you go. Now I have a grade item created inside of my grade book. All right. So that's very super simple a way to create now grades for assignment and just sort of unmistakably connect them right away here. Right. So you can see it just does automatically everything. Back with the previous experience, with the previous interface, remember it would pop up create a new a window, and then you would have to put the name for that and maximum amount of points. Now it's doing everything automatically. So based on these points, right, you put these points, and when you're creating a new grade item, it just basically puts that 25 points right in here, right? And it does create the name for you right away. So much easier. Okay.
Good for me.
Yeah. Good for anybody. We just need to get you.
I know.
get used to. I'm finding that a little bit confusing. Edit or link to existing. If I would be developer of this application, I would not use word edit, because really, I would say create or link to existing. That would be, I think, a better choice of wording, because edit, what are we going to edit? What are we editing here? There's a create or link to existing.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's move on. The dates. So the due date, now we have right over here. All right. And that's most important date of the in the assignments, right? It's a due date. But also, where are the other dates? Where are the start and end dates? They are hiding right over here. So the special access is here. The release conditions are here, like it's being with the previous one. And now the start date is here, and the end date is also right over here. All right, so let's take a look at the instruction HTML editor. So just notice that you cannot really move things around that much, but you still can have the editor. You can make window bigger, right? Or you can just use this button over here and go to the full screen, right? And go back from the full screen right here. Pretty much very similar set of tools that we had with the previous experience. They are lined up a little bit differently. With the previous one, the whole set of tools would start with the insert stuff area over here. So start tool, but now it starts with the formatting options, and then it goes to the multimedia option, the insert stuff. That's where we would put the videos, cultural videos, YouTube videos. Insert quick link is right over here. Very handy feature. Insert image, equation editor, and so on. A couple new things. There's accessibility checker right now is right over here, so which is awesome. But what I really like about this new HTML editor is format painter. I just gonna mention this. So if you for the format painter, if there's some part of your document as a different formats, you can match these formats very easily by just going and painting on top of that, getting a sample from the right format and just putting that formatting on top. But this is probably for topic for a different, might be a different topic. So, but just if you have questions about format painter, I can answer them later on, but I want to go with my agenda for assignments. Okay, so let's take a look down over here. There's more options in this area. So this area kind of represents all possible attachments that we can have to the assignments that we're creating. So you can upload files, or you can link existing files to existing activity in your course, right? You can choose any of your content items or course files or discussions. You can link it right over here. This is our just a regular link, and I believe this is a Google Drive. You can record audio, record video, and that would create attachment for this instructions that you have. I'm going to put the simple instructions. Please upload your homework here, right? Or below using upload button. Right, so okay. What else we haven't explored here? Submissions and submission and completion. Okay, so what's hiding behind this section? You can create individual assignments, so you can create a group. You can ask your students to create group assignments. You can have a categories like we in the previous experience as well. With submission files, there's some new options over here. So the normal, the most useful way file submission, when you're asking students to submit a file, but you can also skip that and have the option of them only submitting a text, so they don't have to upload anything. That could work sometimes when, for example, they would be providing you with a Google Drive link. So if they're creating homework using Google Drive, and you're just asking them to provide a live link to their work, that might be a case when you would be using the text submission. And there's other scenarios as well, when you just want students to type something in the notes box. That would be without submitting any files. All right, so on paper submission, you're creating they might be giving you their work, handing it to you in the classroom, and then you can still use this tool, assignment tool, for providing the feedback, giving them grades, and possibly even giving them feedback files, right? Returning files with your marks. And a very similar thing observed in person as well. All right. You can choose one file per submission or unlimited amount of submissions. Here's a new thing as well. So you can specify which files you expect from your students, and sometimes students can upload a weird files. Very often we're helping instructors with what's called .page files, variation of a text editor, and which is very hard to extract, and it's not visible by D2L annotation tool, so you have to convert it. But you can, if you just want specific file formats, you don't want some formats, you can specify it right over here. So things and custom file type. So if you're just expecting PDFs and Microsoft Docs files, you can specify it right in here in this area. So I think that's a good improvement for instructors who are constantly getting files in the wrong format. That could be good help. Okay. If you want to get a notification for submissions, you can put your email over here. That might be a little bit overwhelming, but at least you have this option. All right, so evaluation and feedback. So that's where we, if you have a rubric, you can attach a rubric right over here. Create new rubric. I'm not sure if I have one. Maybe I do. I do have a rubric right over here. Let's get this one. So now a rubric is attached, and you can. That's going to be also visible to your students. So we're not using learning objectives. Annotation tools. Make sure this is set up by default, but this is a good tool to have available. So if for whatever reason the annotation tool is not showing up when you're giving feedback, you might want to check for these settings. And anonymous marking hides student names during the assessment. Now, in some cases, that might be a big help. Okay, so we just went over the whole interface that new experience offering us, and a very important button over here is a visibility. So by default, the assignment is invisible, and the crossed eye is a symbol for that. And when you put the visibility on, the open eye appears, right? So if I'm going to click on save and close, this assignment should be added to my assignment list on the very bottom of this section of no category. So the next step I'm going to be doing, I'm going to impersonate my student and show you the student view and how students see the assignments, and then we're going to go and switch back to instructor's view and see how instructor can give a feedback to assignment this assignments. One thing I want to check. I want to go to grades and see if we do have that grade item, and if it's there. the grade item for this assignment is created. It's right over here. It's connected to assignment. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab one of my students. Okay, so she's a good student. Going back to my October 12th. Okay, add a new file button. Add a file. All right, so we can add a file finally, and be very specific this time, and bring up a PDF. Okay, so yeah, submitting the file. I'm done. Confirm email sent successfully. Click on done. All right, and here, okay, so I'm still student, all right, and I probably, if I go back to my course home, I don't have this widget, but I would be getting an email about a notification on email about submission. I know that my email, I would be probably be getting the email. You can see submission receipt, right? So right here, I got an email. Okay, so but right now I'm looking at this as a student at this assignment tab, right? And I can see that I have one submission file. I can go review that, review my file. If I want, I can download that, but there's nothing, no feedback yet. All right, so I'm gonna switch back to instructor's view, impersonating. Okay, so view as a student, and that should switch me back to of being instructor. And now I should be able to see, if I go to assignment, I should be able to see that, oh, one submission happened, right?
You should grade it and see.
Oh, yeah, but also I was just going to show you, and of course you probably know by now that if you go to grades and you find that assignment column over here, right? Grade item, you can click on that as well. So and that red hollow shows that the submission was created.
So you can grade it from the grade too.
Yeah, you can just click on that. Yeah, so yeah, this is the second place where you wanted to go, or maybe that's some people prefer grading from the gradebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so so let's see. So here's user submissions, and we're gonna click on this one, choose that one, and now it gives me this wonderful annotation tool that that allows to do all sorts of things. All right? I can do some marking. All right. We can. There's a marking options. Also, you can go ahead and put some notes. You can use a text box. It's almost like a notes, but now it's visible right here, right? So in order to see the notes, you need to
click on it.
Well, more roll over your mouse on top of that, right? Okay, so they are using that annotation tool, and now when it comes to grading. You can either use the rubric that you have, all right? So you just, depending on your criteria, you can choose the appropriate levels, and it just automatically grades your grades the assignment, and then you can also good job overall. All right, and you can provide some feedback. And when you're done, you can also add recordings or submit, upload more files. So whatever needs to be done. Okay, so so after you created your video, attached your video, provided all sorts of feedback here, you can click publish or save it as a draft. So if you save it as a draft, then this submission or feedback will be saved as a draft, and you can go back to that later on and publish it. But right now it's saved as a draft, right? So so once you publish it, the grade's going to the grade book, right? So I just clicked publish, and the grade should go to the grade book, and we can take a look at this. So yeah, let's see, grade book grades, and I know it's all the way over here. So yeah, you can see the red dot disappeared, and the grade was entered right over here. All right, so if I am a student, I can check what else is a student. You can see that, okay, so there you go. The feedback is provided, the grade is provided, but the feedback is unread, right? It's never went there. So, okay, I can go and as a student read this feedback, see the rubrics, see how it's being reviewed. Okay, there's also attached files, a little video here. Let's click on that, see what's going to be. Okay, so it's you see it's providing you with the feedback file, right? So if you're giving your recordings of your grading the paper, that's where they would be seeing that. And also the inline feedback, that's the file that we use annotation tool for. It's also presented in here. So yeah, well, pretty much this is the whole cycle that we went through, and we looked at all the cycle from creating assignments, viewing that as a student, submitting homework, and grading, and viewing again the feedback as a student. So that's the whole cycle. I'm gonna go ahead and switch back and stop the recordings, and I can answer maybe some questions that you have.